Moderrn Horizons 3 is upon us, and it's already looking like an incredible set that will undoubtedly have a huge impact on virtually every format. And it's not surprising that between a bunch of new Eldrazi support, a fresh and scary looking Goyf, a soul land, a new cycle of free spells, the evoke elementals finding their way onto the Magic Arena client for the first time, and in the light of a full cycle of seemingly very strong flip walkers, that some cards truly deserving of attention go a little bit under the radar. Moderrn Horizons set have a track record of being pretty busted, and they're responsible for quite a few banned cards in both Modern, Legacy, and Pauper. As you can see, Arcum's Astrolabe is the card here that's banned in all three formats, but as far as I can remember, didn't receive nearly the same amount of hype as some of these other cards that ended up getting banned. It's not that people aren't talking about Basking Broodscale, which is the card this video is about, but I think it's getting a little bit overshadowed by all the flashy things we've already seen from this set. This is obviously not the new premium 2-drop that's gonna be a staple in every mid-range deck. It's just a really power-crept Scurry Oak, which is a card that's notorious for going infinite if you look at it wrong. And Broodscale is both cheaper to cast, and it makes Eldrazi spawns instead of squirrels, which is a huge difference, and it even pseudo-enables itself a bit with its adaptability in the sense that in certain scenarios with these combos you'll need to start a loop by having a creature enter the battlefield, but more on that later in the video. So Basking Broodscale combos with all the same cards as Scurry Oak, with Rosie and Heliod probably being the biggest ones, at least in the context of Modern and maybe also Timeless. When you combo with Rosie and Scurry Oak, you get an infinitely big Scurry Oak plus infinite squirrels. If you replace Scurry Oak with the Broodscale, you also get to make tokens that can sacrifice themselves to make infinite colorless mana, which opens up a whole lot of possibilities in terms of what a shell build around this combo could look like. And the fact that Broodscale costs 2 rather than 3 means it curves into Rosie for a clean turn 3 game-winning combo, assuming you can either get to connect with the Broodscale or you have something to do with all the colorless mana. And it's sort of the same thing with Heliod, although you do need some kind of Soul Sister effect in addition in order for this to go infinite, but then the combo also results in infinite life gain. Although the upside of having this combo produce infinite mana with the Eldrazi spawn is certainly a significant upgrade to this combo, the fact that the tokens we're making have the ability to just sacrifice themselves might actually be the scariest part here. This means that if you add some kind of Blood Artist effect to the mix, you don't even need a combat step to finish the game. So maybe it's possible to build some kind of Aristocrat shell around this combo, although I'm not sure whether this would just be a worse version of a Yawgmoth combo, but we'll see once we get the full set to experiment with. However, the most exciting thing about this though is the fact that Broodscale also goes infinite with effects that let you put counters on creatures whenever a creature dies. Tarion Soul Cleaver, Blade of the Blood Chief, and Ghost Lantern are all 1 mana equipments that go infinite with Broodscale, which also opens up the possibility of an Urza Saga shell being a thing. Now, we unfortunately don't have Saga in Timeless yet, so this is only relevant in Modern and maybe Legacy for now, although I'm not really sure this would be good enough for Legacy. If you're a Legacy expert, let me know what you think of the competitive viability of a combo like this down in the comments. Another big difference between Broodscale and Scurry Oak is the rarity. Broodscale being a common makes it Pauper legal, and there's also some serious combo potential here. Sadistic Glee is a 1 mana aura that's very similar to the equipments we just discussed, as it lets you put counters on the creature it's enchanting whenever a creature dies. So if you go turn 2 Broodscale, you can enchant it with Sadistic Glee on turn 3 and then use the adapt ability to make an Eldrazi spawn and then just start the loop from there. This does win the game on the spot if your opponent doesn't have either interaction or a blocker, but you can also play something like Bog Initiate to filter all the colorless mana into black mana and then finish the game with a Consume Spirit Fireball style, or you can also just do it Fling style with a Rite of Consumption. This definitely looks like there's potential for a new tier 1 combo deck in Pauper in my opinion. There's also Commander potential for Basking Broodscale. All the combos we just talked about for 60 card formats are of course also legal in Commander. And then there's one Commander that I'm aware of that goes infinite with Broodscale itself, and that's Mazirek Crawl Death Priest. Admittedly, I didn't do the deepest of dives here though, so I wouldn't be surprised to find out that there's actually more. Goyf comes pretty close, but needs another piece like Pawn of Ulamog or Pitiless Plunderer in play to actually go infinite. Goyf does however give you access to white, which means versions Rosie and Heliod, but also more versions of the put a counter on a creature when a creature dies or enters the battlefield effect, with Audric's Outrider, Battle of Hoover Dam, Cathar's Crusade, probably more. I'd still jam this in a Goyf deck, as it would still be a potentially really strong ramp card depending on how you build your deck, of course. I'd also jam this in a lot of decks with access to green that just care about 1/1 counters or making tokens or sacrificing creatures, as I think it's just a really good card that does a lot for just 2 mana. It's obviously not on the same level as something like Dockside Extortionist, but it's still a solid card. All in all, I think Basking Broodscale could be among the most impactful cards to come out of Modern Horizons 3 for multiple formats, and I think I speak for maybe not all, but most modern players when I say it's probably a good time to just like unban Splinter Twin now. I'm also sure I didn't cover every card that combos with Broodscale, so let me know which ones I forgot down in the comments. I hope you enjoyed the video and that you're as excited as I am to get to play Modern Horizons 3. So thank you kindly for the view and have a good one, and I'll see you in the next video.